time for another monthly movie pickup. Hey guys, I hope you liked that little intro. It's time for the monthly movie pickups for February 2023. And I didn't really get a lot this month because it's a short month. I didn't really find anything that I can say, hey, it's worthwhile picking up. Nothing that really drove the home run home, like, hey, I need to get that. I need to get those pickups. I need to do this shit. Well, anyhow, with what I picked up, I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you see that I did find some nice, decent stuff out there. And you can find it at your pawn shops, your thrift shops, your Goodwills, and, just take some looking around. And so we're going to go ahead and start this. We'll start this video with some action. Action, baby. And I always love good action films with certain stars, and one of them was Patrick Swayze, and I had to get Point Break. Point Break is basically the film about him and Keanu. Keanu's a cop. He's going undercover to stop a surfer gang that's robbing from banks, dressing up as the presidents. And it's a really good film. I just love the whole film with it, riding the waves, and he said, you just can't beat this film when it was. And Patrick Swayze had a string of good films. He had Ghost, he had Roadhouse, he had Dirty Dancing, he had Next to Kin, he had this one. I mean, the guy was just clicking. He was just hitting on all these films. And it's just, he was on a run back then. He was on a hell of a run. Another action star I really like is Vin Diesel. Yeah. Vin Diesel and Pitch Black and Riddick, The Chronicles of Riddick. I believe Dark Fury is the animated film, but this was a nice one. Pitch Black, one of the best sci-fi films I like with Vin Diesel. And, your family, I know he drives that home too much, but yeah, he's made like 20 Fast and Furious films, but Pitch Black is one of my favorites, and I really like the Riddick character. Now, staying with action films, this was a Western, and I've been collecting a lot of the Quentin Tarantino films. I've gotten a lot of them on DVD. I've pretty much got Jackie Brown, I got Reservoir Dogs, I've got Django. So one of the films I needed to get was The Hateful Eight, and I was really, when I watched this the first time, I really wasn't that sold on it. I really wasn't that into it. I tried getting into it. It's an okay film. I'll give it another watch, but it's kind of nice to get this at a pawn shop for cheap, and just, to add it to the collection to watch and have it there. Disc's practically brand new. I mean, it's never really been watched. Maybe the person I had the same thoughts I had. Who knows? Now, staying in action, we go to Bruce Willis. Yippee-ki-yay, mother blanker. Well, no, I'll say I'm gonna stay PG here, but Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans in The Last Boy Scout. And Bruce Willis was on a heck of a streak, man. He had the Die Hards, the first 3 Die Hards. He had Hudson Hawk. He had the Last Boy Scout. I mean, the guy was doing some good films, and it's just a shame that he had to retire finally because of a health issue with. He had some kind of form of dementia where he was having issues, and nobody knew it because he made so many films, and he would just be there for like a couple days and leave. And he would get lines fed through his ear. So he was just acting, just going through the motions, and nobody knew it for the longest time, and he finally retired. And it's kind of sad, because back in his day, Bruce Willis had some great films. Now, another action film I picked up, and this guy's done a couple of them. One with Steven Seagal and one with Jet Li, Cradle to the Grave. And Jet Li done one. I'm thinking maybe it's called Kiss of the Dragon. You know, he's with Aaliyah. That was one of my favorite films where he plays football and beats the living hell out of those guys. Good game. After he beat them all up, and he's like, but yeah, this I like Cradle to the Grave, so I had to get that one. I like some Jet Li films. Jet Li, I mean the one, Cradle to the Grave. You know, he had some good films. You know, staying in action. This is from the '70s, and I found this in the pawn shop, and I really like this set. It's called the Non-Stop Urban Action Set. The Urban Action Set. The Black Gestapo, The Black Six, Def Journey, and Get Christy Love. Oh yeah. This set stars Mean Joe Green, Carl Eller, Mercury Morse, Fred Williamson, and Teresa Graves. This is going to be a good set. I like that. Like that. Now we're talking about a star that's basically fallen from grace, and his films aren't no good action-wise anymore. They're directed DVD. Almost every one of them are. And it's like Bruce Willis. You know, they start doing their films direct to DVD just to make an easy paycheck. And I'm talking about Steven Seagal. Now, year before last, I could have picked up a 10 set of Steven Seagal films that sucked. But I didn't do it. I should have done it for the $1. I should have picked them up. They was all there. And I just can't. You know, he made some great films in the late 80s, early 90s. I just can't watch his bad ones, you know. I was like, this will depress me. But I finally decided to bite the bullet and buy this set because it's 4 awful ones for $1. Flight of Fury, Out for a Kill, Shadow Man, and Urban Justice. There's those 4. And one of these films Seagal made, they put it on YouTube. The guy reviewed it. He sits in a chair. In the entire film, he doesn't leave a chair. He's just sitting in a chair, and it's really that bad. I don't know which one. It's probably not one of these, but you never know. I mean, he's done so many films. He's like Nick Cage, you know, wrestling all these films out. Bruce Willis. Now, going to sci-fi, comedy, action, I decided to pick up the Men in Black trilogy. And I like the first Men in Black. It's based on the comic series. It starred Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. It really became a decent film. The last one, you know, it's on here. I can't think of his name. It's in it with them. But those 3 films, okay. They tried Men in Black International, and they tried to bring it back and start a new series with it. It just didn't work. I think the gas had ran out on it. You know, funny aliens and them stopping a threat. You know, it just ran out. One of the rumors from the old Sony leaks, if nobody remembers this, Sony back in the mid-2010s had emails leak and plans. And the first plan was to let Marvel do Spider-Man films, which happened. They was talking with Marvel about doing Spider-Man. Well, another plan was to take 22 Jump Street and cross it over with Men in Black in a crossover film. Yeah, they was going to take Men in Black and cross it over with 22 Jump Street, which was one of the weirdest things that you would think of. And I'm like, okay, that's just weird. And that was one of the discussions going on. It's not happened because Men in Black as a franchise is dead. 22 Jump Street, basically, there's nothing really you could do with it. If you got Jonah Hill and Tatum back for one last film, that's the 3rd one. But anyhow, moving on. Let's get the last sci-fi film done. And it's from the John Cleese, Sean Connery, and Shelley Duvall. And it's called Time Bandits. Time Bandits. And the guy that done this one did The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. And I always wanted this film. Because I know he had done it. I was like, you know, I need to get this film because the odds that I'll find this film, Terry Gilliam had done it. I said, I need to find it. And to find it not even open at a pawn shop, man, look at that. Brand new. Never been open. That's nice. Now we're going to move to drama. And a drama film that's based on a real story. This film stars Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz. It's called Blow, and it's about a drug dealer. And I think this drug dealer got a lot of years in jail. Don't know if he's still in jail or not, but Blow is about that. And Johnny Depp plays him. He's basically a drug dealer, career drug dealer. Before we get to the horror films, I always save the horror for last, because I know hopefully Eddie's watching. I don't know if he is or not, but I always say those for last. And I didn't really get that many horror films on DVD this month, and I didn't get that many comedies either, so it's very weird. But one of the shows I may trade, because I found this for $1, and it's got the whole set, and the discs look great, is Frasier, the first season. And Frasier is getting ready to come back. Frasier is getting ready to come back in a new series, and it's gonna suck because Mark, the guy that played the dad, is gone. David Hyde Pierce is not coming back as Miles. I mean, what's the point of this show? What is the point of this? I mean, Kelsey Grammer's great, but Miles and his brother, Miles and Frasier arguing. As that's what made the show, with the dad playing the sensible middle guy. But even the dog is gone. I mean, Eddie the dog, there he is. And he would be passed away because this show debuted 30 years ago. But yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know why they're making this show. I don't know what's the point of it. But I might trade it. It's one of those things that I might trade. Speaking of comedy, in 21 and 22 Jump Street, I actually got that on DVD set now at a pawn shop. There it is. And I picked up one of the worst comedies that's ever been made, and it's got an all-star cast, which is really insane to think about. Now, when you think about Halle Berry, Christian Bale, Gerard Butler, Richard Gere, Justin Long, Reeve Schreider, Kate Winslet, Johnny Knoxville, Hugh Jackman. You're thinking all these big stars, right? Well, they made a movie that sucks so bad that everybody says the movie is awful. It's called Movie 43. Everybody has said this movie is just one of the worst comedy sketch films ever made. It's just like it goes into different sketches and different things, and I like the attempt. It was like somebody said, you know what? The Kentucky Fried Movie was really good back in the late 70s, early 80s. The Zuckers really made a great movie. But you know what? We need to get an all-star cast of people and do something nearly like that. But we don't have the talent to do it. To make it really a good comedy film. We'll just do a bunch of sketches and run-ons, and it was bad. So yeah, Movie 43, I picked it up for that. Now we're going to get to the horror films. I picked up 4 horror films, and one of them from Cheap Thrills, and me and the guy talked about it, is called Altered States. Altered States. I've never seen this film, and I think I can't think of who done it, but the guy told me. I was like, this looks very interesting. Love the cover. So I'm going to give it a watch, Altered States. Another film I picked up, almost brand new, the discs are in great shape from the thrift shop, is the 4-movie marathon horror collection of Slither, Altered, Cry Wolf, and The Return. I like The Return, man. Look how creepy that is. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. Now, this series is getting ready to come back with a 6th movie, and it's going to be on a cruise line. It's going to be, it's really weird, but Final Destination is coming back for a 6th film. So I went ahead and picked up the 5th one. So this gives me the 2 through 5 on Final Destination films. I don't know, I got to find the first one. I got the 4th one on Blu-ray, I believe. But yeah, the Final Destination films are really, they'll scare the crap out of you for what they do, And finally, one of the last horror films I picked up, and I debated on it, but for $1, I said, it's $1. pick it up. It's at the pawn shop. The disc is in great shape. It'll give you the movie until you find the Blu-ray, because you're getting the Blu-rays of this series because you've got the big set of them. I picked up Halloween with Michael Myers, the 2018 Halloween. This is a nice one. Halloween, Mike Myers' evil is never gone. He's always going to come back. And there's been like 3 or 4 timelines of Halloween. I mean, it's very weird. It's just a series, we can sit here and just do the timeline thing and me get a chalkboard out. Okay, here's the, what's it called, timeline. Okay, this is where it diverted. We can sit there and do all that, me drawing a timeline, the chalkboard, but the 2018 was really good. The new timeline sequel, okay. I ain't seen the third one. I was wanting to go see it with Eddie, but he watched it online. I'm like, come on, man, let's go see it in the theater. We've all seen all 3 Halloweens, and I would have liked to take it, had like us 3 different films of Halloween, us seeing all 3 different films. But I'm going to get to the Blu-rays now. And I picked up, there's actually 5 superhero movies I picked up. One's a set. And I'm very happy with what I found on Blu-ray, man. I'm ecstatic. I can't believe I found this in the pawn shop. And so I'm going to go ahead and show the first one off. It's X-Men Apocalypse on Blu-ray. It's not as good as Days of Future Past. It's not as good. It's set in the 80s. Apocalypse, he's not a villain that you never hardly see, in films. And it's really nice to see that he got a spot here. And I know that people say about his color palette in this film, but I always like the speech. Everything they've built, we will build a better world. That's right. Now this one, I wish that I need to get a better case for this one. But this is a Blu-ray. I got it from Cheap Thrills. I got this on a deal. I got Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man. And Ant-Man with Paul Rudd, really good. Marvel showed their power. Back in, they could take a minor character like Ant-Man. If you're looking at Ant-Man, you're thinking, this character's never done anything. Who's his main villain? There's, I think, Egg Foo or Eggman or something. I think he's called Egg Foo. So he really didn't have a major villain. Yellow Jacket, I think, played one of the villains, I believe. It's really crazy. I think Yellow Jacket was one of the villains they played on here. Yeah, Yellow Jacket. So they basically had to create a villain, use Yellow Jacket as an Ant-Man villain. But now they're going to use Kang in the third one. But it worked, Paul Rudd's a very likable guy, and he made Scott Lang work. And I really like this film. I like the first one. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes. He's not he's trying to do the right thing, and he finally, to see him do it is really nice. Now, another superhero, and I've seen 2 of the Thor films. I ain't seen the third one. It is the 3-movie collection of Thor. And look at this, man. This Blu-ray is just jacked, buddy. Look at this thing. Look at that cover. That cover just screams it's going to be ass-kicking. I'm glad I picked this one up. The Thor 3-movie collection. I haven't seen Blood and Thunder yet. I'm hoping it's good. I've heard good and bad things about it. I've heard, sweet Natalie's in it, and she's a babe, and I'm sorry. Yeah. She could be the goddess of thunder all she wants, because Natalie's a babe, that's what I'm going to say it. I'm sorry, Eddie guys, that, that's I always take up for Natalie Portman. Just, got that crush on her, favorite actress. She's a babe. Now, let me get back to the movies here. I picked up the horror film Silent Hill Revelations and Silent Hill on a set. And they just basically put these 2 sets together, Silent Hill and Silent Hill Revelations. The first Silent Hill, really good. First Silent Hill was really good. Second one, not so much. But for the price I paid for it on clearance, go ahead and get it from Cheap Thrills. And finally, the last movie I picked up, I said this earlier, it's one of Bruce Willis's best films. I looked for it for a long time. found it in a Goodwill. It is Hudson Hawk with Hollywood Homicide. Hudson Hawk's better though. That's the only reason I picked it up. Hudson Hawk. That's it. Yeah, Bruce Willis sings in this film. Yeah, him and Danny Aiello's in this film. I think they sing together. It's a fun thief movie. It's just a fun thief movie. And yeah, like I said, it's one of Bruce Willis' best ones, so I had to pick it up. Goodwill, nice little pickup. But that's it. That's all the movies for February. Not a big month. It was a great, I picked up some good finds at the War Collection, Hudson Hawk, X-Men. I'm very happy with what I picked up, these collection sets. I might, deal Frasier, so who knows. But in all, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you liked and support the channel. Drop some comments. You can tell me how my taste sucks in a film. I won't mind it. We can sit there and joke around about it. But for now, I'm going to go watch some Hudson Hawk.